Snipers, you have to see what's happening in the Bitcoin price right now as Bitcoin tried to get above $24,300 with today's daily candle. But check out this candle symmetry with our daily candle rejecting the $24,300 level. This is a very important video, Snipers. And we also have some fundamentals to talk about. Bitcoin is on track to make 4 green weeks in a row. For the first time in 12 months, we saw a brutal start to this year, but now we have 4 green weekly candles in a row. And check out what's happening with Bitcoin miners right now. Since August 6th, we've started to see Bitcoin miners sell some more Bitcoin, going back into this distribution phase. You can see their holdings are starting to come down. This is just some food for thought, especially with today's daily candle closing bearish. We have to address both sides of the equation. And then just some food for thought here. Yesterday, we saw the highest NFT sales in 2 months, and that's a very positive thing for Ethereum. We'll talk about Ethereum as well, but let's talk about Bitcoin's daily candle. Sniper, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm if you support these quick updates. The first thing I want to do is pull out this 4-dimensional revolving part. Notice what also closed with a bearish daily candle. The S&P 500, you can see we had this bearish wick, and if we also look at the NASDAQ, of course, you can see very similar price action. And the interesting thing about the NASDAQ is we have this bearish daily candle at a major resistance level. So let's address the bullish and bearish case for Bitcoin and Ethereum, because right now you can see Bitcoin, as I record this video, is testing the most important support level, which is 23,795. As long as Bitcoin is in between 24,300 and 23,795 at any point in time, we could potentially see a break towards that $28,000 level. And that would be with bullish 4-hour candles closing above 24,300. You can see we didn't get any bullish candles above the $24,300 level on the 4-hour chart. We got 3 candles above it, 1 fully above it. But you can see once we got this bearish rejection on the 4-hour, that was the sign that, okay, Bitcoin is still inside of this consolidation. It's not ranging away. And it simply, so far, has just formed a higher high here. And so we have to keep this in mind for Bitcoin, that we're still inside of the consolidation, finding resistance at 24,300 with very similar candle symmetry to the S&P 500 for our daily candle close. At this point, if we break below 23,795, it opens up the door to 17,204. I know that's a very long ways down. I don't expect Bitcoin to just get there out of nowhere. Of course, 22,500 would most likely be the first level of support, and we know there's a lot of volume at 21,000. If we do see any downside below 23,795, it would turn into a resistance level. But here's the thing for Bitcoin. It's at a very critical point, Snipers. We know that because if we can open up this door at 24,300, it really gives us a lot of breathing room for Bitcoin to potentially have upside targets all the way up to 35,000 US dollars in the medium term. Of course, as we've been saying, 28,000 to 30,000, where we have confluence with this bear market resistance level, the 20-week moving average, and the CME gap would probably be the first upside target for Bitcoin, getting above 24,300 with bullish candle symmetry. But we have to address this higher high that closed with this daily candle today. Miners are starting to sell their Bitcoin again. Are we going to be seeing Bitcoin potentially come back down towards the area where there's most volume in this consolidation at 21,000 to test this level, potentially clear out some positions that are on leverage here before seeing a continuation of the upside, forming a higher low? I think all of those are on the table. We've been monitoring this range for long enough. So let's talk about some other puzzle pieces. With NFT sales hitting their highest in 2 months, Ethereum, you can see, outperforming Bitcoin, testing its most important resistance at 1980. I would say 1980 is just as significant as 24,300 is for Bitcoin. For Ethereum, it's significant because it opens up the door for a lot of breathing room all the way up to $3,500 for the Ethereum US dollar price. And all we need is hourly and 4-hour bullish candle confirmations above 1980 to see 3,500, or at least the door open up to 3,500. You can see the 20-week moving average sitting right at 1980 right now. So there's no coincidence on the chart here, the fact that we're seeing confluence here with the major level at 1980 and the 20-week moving average as Ethereum is trying to come and test it. The Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, though, we're getting some positive signs. We broke into a higher high. We broke this consolidation at 77,000 Satoshis, and it looks like Ethereum has about 10% upside that I could see at any point in time to outperform Bitcoin even, because our next target for the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart is 88,300 Satoshi. So this is certainly on the table, especially with the Ethereum merge coming up and scheduled for September 19th. We could certainly start to see more buy the hype, sell the news type of price action here for the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. But let's talk about some more important puzzle pieces that are really going to influence the price action of the cryptocurrency market and equity markets over the next few weeks. And that's the DXY. The strength of the US dollar, you can see, has been calming down. We haven't formed further highs for the last few weeks, and it looks like we're ready to test this 20-week moving average. Let's monitor the DXY. Maybe that means that the S&P 500 and out, it is above its 20-week moving average. Bitcoin is trying to potentially get towards its 20-week moving average around $29,000. That maybe the DXY comes down, tests its 20-week moving average of support, and then we can see Bitcoin even test the 20-week moving average as resistance. And we can still see a continuation of the current trend here where the DXY maybe sees more strength. Maybe it bounces at the 20-week moving average, fundamentals and use comes in, and Bitcoin potentially rejects the 20-week moving average. That's all still on the table. But a confirmation getting below the 20-week moving average for the DXY is the bullish case, because that could confirm this top here for the DXY. But as long as the DXY doesn't form further highs, I think that 17,600 is going to be very tough to come and test for Bitcoin, because that could be a potential short-term to medium-term bottom as it has been acting over the last few weeks. And so other than that, I would say that the most important thing on my chart at this point is Bitcoin against the SPY. Outside of Bitcoin, the reason Bitcoin has failed to get above 24,300 is the fact that it's been underperforming the S&P 500. You can see it's very different than the Bitcoin to US dollar chart, where we're forming these lower highs versus forming higher highs. And so we're clearly seeing weakness here. If we can see a break of this trend, maybe a higher high formed here, then that's what I'm looking for here, to assume Bitcoin can outperform the S&P 500, which would make it extremely easy for Bitcoin to move past 24,300 to outperform the equity markets, which have not only been showing strength since we saw oil on the CPI report come down for the first time in 2022. And that narrative is the fact that with inflation peaking, maybe the markets bottom. That's the narrative the bulls are trying to run with. The equity markets have held their gains that they've seen over the last few weeks. And so Bitcoin still has the green light to break above 24,300. It's certainly struggling to do so, maybe because miners are starting to sell off. We're starting to see distribution, but these could be short-term effects that could eventually wear off if we continue to see strength in the outside environment for Bitcoin. So the green light is still there for Bitcoin. Now, it could change at any point. We could potentially see some of these revolving parts fall apart. Maybe the NASDAQ does find resistance at this bear market resistance that we just had a daily candle close with bearish symmetry. And if we start to see equity markets push back, then that could certainly affect Bitcoin to the negative end. And so maybe the green light won't be there anymore. But for now, the green light is still there, that Bitcoin can at any point break out above 24,300, hit that $28,000 level, and that could allow Ethereum to break above 1980 and potentially see a real strong move to the upside in anticipation of this merge. So very interesting things happening on the chart, snipers. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, and I appreciate each and every one of you tuned into the Snipers channel. Thank you guys, and I will see you next time. Snipers out.